Hey guys, Asher Rayshot Legends. Welcome to the video. Today we are going to tier off every artifact set in the game. Should be a good one here. We have a lot to get to. I'm going to try not to ramble for ages about every single artifact set out there. But just as a precursor to this tier list, we have S, A, B, C, and F tier. Obviously ranging from worst all the way to the best of the best. In S tier, probably going to have about like 5 sets, I would say, or so. In S tier, maybe 6, and probably around the same in F tier, maybe more. The shame of the game is it's really evolved to the set, in the end game, at least in Raid, to where 9-piece variables, it's everything inside Raid right now, right? It's where the meta has shifted towards being able to put a 4-piece with a 9-piece, get 2 4-pieces, or the power of some of these 9-piece bonuses that we get. I actually don't mind it, though. I like the 9-piece variables personally. What I don't like is how they haven't gone in there and given us a reason to farm dungeons. Listen, there are still good dungeon sets, right? Speed, Reflex, Savage, you know, I could go on. Stun sets, regeneration. There's some very usable and viable artifact sets in dungeon. The problem is there's so many trash sets. You have to throw away so much energy just for a shot at one artifact that you might roll up and it might be good, right? So much RNG involved as well. I would love to see them. They did it 2 or 3 years ago. Buffed a bunch of artifact sets like Reflex, like Curse Set, Curing. They buffed a lot of sets. And they reworked a lot of sets too. I would like to see them do that again. I mean, right now, these dungeons are really bad. Really bad. I don't farm artifacts in dungeons anymore as an endgame player, you know? I just don't do it. The only time I farm dungeons is when I need silver from Spider, or when there's an event dungeon for Pinpoint, or when it's a fusion or something like that, a tournament that I want to win. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to it here, guys. We're going to start with Relentless. Well, we're starting with a controversial call. It's not going to be the best set in the game on my ranking, but I give it S tier. I think most people would give it probably A or B, you know, but I give it S. I've made a whole video about this probably a couple times on my main channel, that I think that Relentless is just one of the most powerful sets. The more and more powerful champions they introduce to this game that can do so many amazing things, with the 9-piece variables, you can put champions in Stone Skin and Relentless. It's ridiculous, you know, an extra turn and the protection of Stone Skin. I think that getting an extra turn is such a game changer, both in the arena and in PvE, that I love it. It is RNG, and I don't think it's the best set in the game, but I think it's still, after all these years, with the addition of the 9-piece, I think it's underrated. Curse Set. Curse Set is niche, but it's a good niche, right? Like when you need Hex, and Hex is a lot better than it used to be, specifically for Hydra, Curse Sets is great, right? They did a great rework of Curse Sets, in my opinion. Immunity gear. Man, immunity's really fallen off. It used to be, God, A or S tier when I started playing this game, but now there's a lot of better options out there, which we'll get to. So it's going to be relegated to C tier. You know, block debuffs is still not the worst thing to have for 2 turns at the start of the round, but it's you know, it's dated. Frenzy, I'm going to give it F tier. Frenzy, I did not like the rework on this one. 5% turn meter every time we receive a debuff is not enough turn meter for a 4-piece set. It would be decent, or at least you could put some consideration if it was a 2-piece. But if I'm talking about a set would be better as a 2-piece, and it's a 4-piece, we have a big problem. So Frenzy, no. Fury, F tier. Fury maybe a little bit better than Frenzy. I don't know. It's still niche, but at least it has like some utility. Fury is the damage increases as HP decreases. So you could use it on a damage dealer with unkillable or an unkillable team. The problem is there's better, you know, this is what we're going to run into a lot here. There's just better options out there. There's better options out there. So again, that's damage increases as HP decreases on Fury. Savage gear. I still think it's A tier. I mean, ignore 25% defense is still incredibly good in this game. And it gives you a reason to farm Fire Knight a little bit, or at least a reason to not be upset about having to farm Fire Knight. Shield set, man, you can activate a Seer with a shield set. I'm going to put shield set in B tier. I think people are down on shield set because of bolster and stuff, but shield set's great. I use it on my Wixwell team, right? I use shield set in PvE situations. You can use it to activate a seer. And still having that shield is very valuable, right? Especially in PvE, where the fact that it can't be removed like bolster protected isn't as imperative or as important. So I still think shield set is great. 30% ally shields for 3 turns, right? So super solid. Regeneration. I'm going to give it B tier. I'm actually going to give it right above shield set because regeneration is still kind of the quintessential I'm going to solo content in the game, and I need regeneration to get that 15% heal every turn. It's good to put on your survivors, your revivers as well. Life set, it's a newbie set, right? It's not good anymore, certainly. Just to get the HP, we want a lot more than just 15% HP from our gear. So unfortunately, we'll put it, I guess I'd still put it personally over Frenzy and Destroy, though. Or excuse me, Frenzy and Fury, and Destroy's next. Listen, Destroy's incredibly niche, right? It's Destroy enemy max HP. It's a Scarab King set. So I would like to see it have a little bit more viability in the game. I'm going to give it C tier, but it definitely gets the job done against Scarab King, I guess. Stun set. Stun set, I'm going to give it A tier right below Savage. Obviously, it's amazing. It's essential to get through Curse City. It's good for Doom Tower waves, and it can be a nice sneak attack for the arena as well. I think it's kind of cool. It's a cool kind of, surprise set for the arena. So all that considered, it is a little bit niche, though. It's not like you're going to run in boss encounters in a stun set in this game. Niche maybe is the wrong word, but it's, what I'm saying. So A tier, excuse me. Toxic. It's niche. I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier. I think the Toxic set, 75% chance to place the poison, albeit a weak version. It was a good buff, right, to the Toxic set. Maybe the top of C tier. Let's be real. I mean, it's not game-breaking or anything like that. But, when you have a champion, maybe like an Inquisitor Shamil or something like that, or an Apothecary that already is going to survive, like you're not worried about them dying, or they're going to be attacking a lot, maybe out of turn, you can get a little extra damage there on a Toxic set. You can solo content with UDK in a Toxic set in some areas as well. Provoke set, I think, is pretty good. It's kind of another bit of a niche set, but I think they did a good job with it. They buffed that set again, like going back years here. It still feels like yesterday to me. But Provoke set, I think it's solid, but still not going to be, it's not dependable enough for Head of Decay. But again, it can be a nice, I think I did a video, or I know I did a video with Mithrala in a Provoke set in the arena. It can have some kind of niche surprise utility, but it's not busted. Okay, Retaliation, 15% to counterattack, and they changed it to a 2-piece set, which was a good buff, but the problem is, what the problem always is with these sets, right, is that there's better options out there now with the 9 pieces. But it can be cool on a champion like maybe a Phoenix to counterattack. I kind of like it. We'll put it right over here in B tier. Okay, Avenging, 45% chance to counterattack when you get a debuff. It's not awful, but it's a 4-piece, I'm actually going to put it at the bottom of C tier. It can be kind of cool in some situations, like Spider and Nether Spider, but there's just better options out there, So, meh. Stalwart. Stalwart used to be pretty good, but I feel like for a 4-piece, 30% damage from AoE attacks, it's not what it used to be. It's really not. So I'm actually going to put it at the... I'll put it over here in C tier, right after Toxic. I'll actually put it at the top of C tier. Screw it. It's not bad to get that AoE damage mitigation on your tank, your revivers, or whomever. It's just not great, Reflex. Man, Reflex is A tier. It's hard to even compare Savage and Reflex, right? It just depends. I actually might put it at the top of A tier. I'm so high on Reflex. I think it was one of the strongest buffs that they did back when they buffed the artifact sets. Reflex is just insane. It's a 40% chance to reduce a cooldown of a random skill, so it's great on champions like a Rector Drath, right? Unlike Merciless, you don't have to do damage to get the cooldown. 40% is huge. I think it used to be 30%, and they buffed it to 40, or was it 20? I think it was a 30, though. Either way, it's just so good. Reflex, like I said, Rector Drath or like a Battle Khazar or Valkyrie, champions that only have one active skill anyway, or a Revive is one of their active skills as well, which you might not always be using. Reflex is so incredibly strong, so we'll put it at the top of A. Curing set. I'm actually not a hater of the curing set. Bonus heal, and they added that it restores destroyed max HP as well. I'll put it at the top of C tier. You know, curing set's not a great set, but sometimes, you know, you're not going to deck out 9-piece variable sets, your best gear on every champion, and sometimes you just might need a healer for Faction Wars or something like that. Throw a curing set, get that bonus heal, and get the curing of the destroyed max HP. 20% bonus heal isn't that bad. Daze set. Ooh, the ever so popular Daze set. That is F tier. Listen, sure, you could get some utility. You could with a Daze set. You could put him to sleep, right? But is that enough to get excited? A chance to land sleep on a 4-piece set? Only a 25% chance to land your sleep? Nah, it's not enough for me. Not enough for me. That should be a 2-piece set right there. Or like a, I don't know. I don't even know what you do with Daze set. 50% chance to sleep? 60% chance? Like, what would it take to make it good? Frost set I like better than a Daze set. 20% chance to place a freeze on the attacker. Can be a nice move. Obviously, you don't need accuracy for any set debuffs, which is cool. You can throw it on like a support champion, try to surprise your opponent in the arena, but it's not the best. It's not that great, you know? I'm actually going to put it in the towards the bottom of C tier. All right, Cruel Gear. I mean, 5% ignore defense with the attack is still very good. I'm going to put it at the bottom of A tier. Again, like old school sets, the offense set doesn't even have a cool name, just offense. Not good anymore, right? We're going to put it next to Daze. We are putting it next to Daze. Next to Life is what I meant to say, but it's still next to Daze as well. Okay, Immortal. I'm actually going to put Immortal at the bottom of A tier. I could put it at the top of B tier, somewhere in that zone. I'm still a fan of Immortal Gear, right? Because you get the heal and you get the HP. It's obviously a huge upgrade compared to Life. What about you guys? How do you feel about Immortal Gear? Like, I'm still never, let down by a really nice immortal set, and 3% HP doesn't sound like a lot, but in aggregate it can be pretty good. I don't know, I'm talking myself kind of out of it now. I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier. How about that? Right next to Regen, where it ought to be, right? Immortal Gear is kind of interesting because it used to be so insanely good. I remember like Immortal Gear, I was like so pumped to get a good piece, and nowadays just like, yeah, it's another Immortal set, Divine Offense. The Divine sets, they're not that great. You get that self-shield for 3 turns. Divine Offense is attack and the shield. Nah, man. I mean, the fact that they added all this crap to Arena, chess each season, I don't know. I am higher on crit rate and Divine crit rate than most players because especially in the early game, man, getting everybody crit capped at 100% crit rate, that was kind of tough, So I think that Divine crit rate, I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier. And I know most people will most end game players certainly disagree. But, crit rate is crit rate. And it's only a 2-piece, 12% crit rate, 15% shield. It's not that bad, honestly, in my opinion, Divine Life, not as big on that. I'd rather have Immortal Gear. I'll put it towards the middle of C tier. I feel like is fair, right below Destroy. Now that I'm looking at this list, though, I think probably I'll put Immunity a little bit down more. There we go. That feels a little bit better there. Am I crazy to have Toxic that high? I don't think so. All right. Divine Speed, man, S tier. S tier. I mean, speed is still everything in Raid. It's still so important in Raid. It's a great set. And again, just like all the other Divines, you get that self-shield as well. So we're going to give it S tier. Well, let's not get crazy here, Ash. I don't want to give away, because if I give it to Divine Speed, I got to give it to every speed set, So I'm going to put it in A tier. I'm going to put it between Reflex and between Savage. Swift Parry, I'm going to put it at the bottom of B tier, right? below Divine Crit Rate. That feels right. Swift Parry is like not a meta set, but can be a really nice, nasty surprise for your opponent. You get the speed, which is great. You get crit damage, 50% unkillable. It's not an awful set. It's just not as good as it was, you know, when they released the Forge. Oh, this is an interesting one, Deflection. Deflection is a very interesting 4-piece set. You get the HP, you get the defense, and the 25% chance to reflect a debuff at the attacker. I think it's an underrated set. That being said, I'm not crazy. I don't think it's like S tier or anything like that. I think it's an underrated set. 20% HP, 20% defense, and the deflection of like bomb from Bommel, poisons all over the place from you know, Nether Spider or from the dragon. It can be handy even in the arena sometimes. Not as good as Relentless certainly, but as a surprise set to the wand of submission, throwing the debuffs back, right? A random debuff could be a stun or something, right? It's a sneaky kind of good set. I think I should probably make a whole video on deflection set. I think I'm going to now that I've talked it up so much. All right, Resilience. You get the HP and the defense. We'll put it at the bottom of C tier. Maybe the top of F tier. How about that? Perception. Perception's very, very good. I'm going to put Perception at right in A tier. It's hard. Maybe between Savage and Stun. It's still one of the best 2-piece sets in the entire game. And, yeah, I mean, there it is. You get accuracy, you get speed, two of the most sought-after stats that you need on, like, most champions anyway. It's a really good set. I think that's a pretty fair spot for it. Now, Affinity Breaker, another underrated set. I'm going to put it in B tier, right below the deflection, right? You get the crit damage on Affinity Breaker, and then you get the 50% chance to change a weak hit into a critical hit. I almost feel for a 4-piece set that it'd be nice to have a 75% chance. And that would like vault it up to maybe bottom of A tier, you know, or maybe even 100%. Is that like crazy to say? You're making a big sacrifice to take a whole 4-piece set on a champion. That being said, it's like, it's really nice to have. Like Affinity Breaker is really, really underrated. Defense, I don't know. I like defense maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Am I crazy? I'll put defense right over here in F tier. It's just an old set. Can be good in the very beginning of the game, but that's about it, right? Okay, next up we have the Untouchable set. So Untouchable is a Doom Tower set. You get immunity, kind of like the immunity gear. You get the block debuffs, and you get resistance on top of that. However, still not amazing because I'll put it right over here. Maybe even a little bit above Toxic, I guess. It's not bad, but the 9-piece variables kill it. You know, there's so many better options out there, unfortunately, in the game right now. It sucks because it should be, Untouchable should be a pretty good set, no? I don't know. Fatal is next. Fatal is attack and crit rate. I don't know. It's not as good as Cruel, obviously. So crit rate with the attack, it's better than crit rate. So we'll put it at the top of C tier. How's that? Maybe the bottom of B tier. I don't want to be too mean to it. Frostbite. I like Frostbite because it's a 2-piece set, right? 2-piece sets, you know, we have a chance of blocking freeze, 15%, I think, at blocking freeze, and a 10% chance of placing freeze on the attacker. It's a nice, sneaky surprise move out of a 2-piece set. What am I doing here? Where did I put Frostbite? Oh, there it is. Okay, I put Bloodthirst in the wrong order. I apologize. So we'll put it at, we'll put Frostbite right over here. Right over here in B tier. I'm a fan. I like Frostbite sneaky. It's a sneaky little set. Now we can talk about Bloodthirst. Bloodthirst is interesting. You get the crit rate, 12%. And then the heal, then the lifesteal, basically, right? I don't use it at all. I still think that lifesteal type mechanic is more of an early game mechanic that you kind of outgrow. But it can be solid, you know, for a damage deal in the early game. But can you really access enough of it, enough good gear, in the early game of Bloodthirst? I don't know. I honestly, I'm too out of touch with the early game to know, just to be real with you guys. I'll put it at the, right after Curing. I don't know. Guardian. I like Guardian. I'll put it I'll kind of put it like over here, somewhere in the B tier. It's like, it's not like stalwart per se, but it's like one of those sets that is good, but it's kind of a good progression set to put on a tank that you want to eat up all your damage, right? It's not bad. Wearer is going to absorb 10% of all the damage, kind of a mini ally protection built in, and you get the 10% heal, which isn't far off regeneration, so maybe I should bump it up a little bit more, right? Maybe over here feels a little bit more appropriate, right? Regenerations, it's weird. You don't have the damage mitigation, but you just have that extra heal, which is all you really want, you know, in a regen. So it's kind of tough to rank there. But next up is Fortitude. You get resistance plus the defense. I like it, but I just don't love it. I'll put it at the top of C tier. You know, lethal. Well, damn, man. Lethal's very, very good. I'm going to put it at the very top of A tier. I mean, getting the crit rate and the ignore defense, obviously it's got to be higher than the Savage. It's still the the quintessential ignore defense sets in the game. Protection, so far the best set that we talked about. I mean, protection is insane. You get all of the damn resistance, the speed, the HP. The protected buffs is so important in this game. There's so many buff removers. There's so many decreased duration of buffs. Merciless is a thing. And then at the 9-piece, you get the extra damage, 5% for every buff on the target with a 75% chance of landing a protected buff. It's one of the strongest sets in the entire game, either in the arena or in anywhere in PvE, right? One of the most important sets in the game. Stone Skin. I'm going to give Stone Skin still S tier, but there's more ways to deal with it now, right? And it's arena focus. So in a way, it's kind of niche, you know? The stats can still be good outside the arena, you know? Sometimes I'll run my arena champions in PvE even with the Stone Skin, just not in longer, important battles like, you know, Chimera or anything like that. But, you know, you get resistance, you get defense, you get tanky stuff, right? And you get Stone Skin in the arena, which is still the meta, right? Meta-defining set, still is, obviously, to this day. So it's kind of difficult, but I would give it, no, it's not difficult. I would give it S tier. All right, Kill Stroke. We get the speed 5% and the crit damage 20%. Not a bad little set here. We'll give it speed and crit damage. Sure, we like it. Put it right over there in B tier. Speed gear. I mean, a good old speed set. I don't know, man. Call me crazy, but speed's still S tier. Speed is speed. Well, if I'm going to put divine speed, over there. Why am I going to put speed in S tier, Ash? It's weird. It's tough to rank these speed sets. But I guess this feels right. Because speed, 2-piece speed for 12% is still insanely good, right? I mean, divine speed and speed, when you get that and you roll the right stats on it, it can change everything about your account, I guess, right? I don't know. So I guess if I'm going to put speed up there, I got to put divine speed up there. Okay, I feel good about it. I've talked myself into it. Instinct gear. Man, I've never been a fan of instinct gear. Some people love it, you know. You get the speed 12% and the 20% ignore defense. So you get like a speed set and then some cruel set or some savage set. It's weird. You're only sacrificing 5% ignore defense to get the 12% speed as compared to a savage, but it's a forge set, right? I don't know. Like, I either want to go speed or I want to go ignore defense. Seldom do I find myself saying, yes, I want to go somewhere in between. Maybe I'm wrong here on this one. Maybe I've just always been too low on it. But in my head, I would rank it somewhere around, I keep going up, right? Somewhere around here. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit lower than your average Joe on it, but that's where I'd rank it. Bolster set, it's A tier. A tier for me. And we'll put bolster right over here. Bolster's very good. The protected shield is insanely good, and you get the heals on top of it. Bolster is probably my favorite. It's a 10% heal every turn with a 3-turn protected shield. Probably my favorite Forge Pass set out there in the game. I am a big fan of Defiant. And this is kind of new for me. I wasn't always a massive fan of the Defiant set, but so I put it on my Harima, and golly, it's insane. It's a 2-piece set. You get 15% AoE damage mitigation, so half of a stalwart, but then you get the 10% defense as well. And just the fact that it's a 2-piece, I really enjoy it. However, to be real, it is a bit niche. So I will put it at towards the bottom here of B tier, right? That's kind of a tough one. Impulse, you get the 12% speed and the 12% chance to reduce a skill cooldown. Woo! That's really good. That's really good. We're going to put it in S tier. These are the big trio, the big 3 of speed sets, all 12% speed. And Impulse is definitely the best. Definitely the best. Zeal, you get the crit damage and the extra damage, 3% for every 25% HP the champion has. Obviously, you guys probably know it from, most players probably know it from Trunda, right? It's like the quintessential Trunda set. But it's not just Trunda, just damage dealers in general for Hydra, areas like that. I'm more of a, it's hard to rank it with Cruel. It's hard. Because in the arena you want Cruel, and PvE you usually want Zeal, and Zeal's tougher to get, but either way it's A tier for me. Righteous. Righteous is very good. Now, you don't get 12% speed, you get 10% speed, but you get 40 resistance. It's another pay-to-win set, and I'm going to put it right behind Cruel. No, I lied. I got to be real here. I'm a big fan of Righteous. I'm going to put it right behind Perception, because getting 10% speed and 40 resistance on a 2-piece is pretty freaking nasty, right? Supersonic. Now we're getting into some of these 9-pieces here. Supersonic is really freaking good. I'm going to put it right over here, above Speed and Divine Speed, right after Impulse. Supersonic is one of the best speed sets in the game. It doesn't give you the best speed in the game, but it allows you, if you're not faster, to cut in line ahead of your opponent. It's the best turn meter set. It's the only turn meter set, I think, in the game. Fills champion's turn meter by 2% every time an enemy receives a buff on 4-piece. That's nasty. That's nasty. The weird thing about Supersonic, though, is I think that beyond 4-piece, it's like just okay, right? You do get extra speed. It's not awful, but compared to the other 9 pieces, it falls off when you get to 5 to 9, in my opinion, compared to the other OP sets. But at 4-piece, or at 3-piece even, because you can use your accessories to get the 10% speed, it's really freaking good. It's one of the best arena sets, I think, at a 4-piece for your speed booster out there. Merciless. Well, it's Merciless time. I mean, this is not going to be a shock to anybody out there watching, but I think Merciless is the best set in the game. Merciless, you get the ignore defense, 35% ignore defense at 6-piece. That's crazy. But at 4-piece, you get the mini reflex, 30% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown when dealing damage. Oof. Oh, there's 3 big use cases for Merciless. On any damage dealer that you don't need Stone Skin on at a 6-piece, right? Just insanely good at a 6-piece. Or you can use it as a 4-piece on like a Mikage or like a million different champions that do damage with a reflex. So you can get the double chance of decreasing skill cooldowns. One of my favorite builds out there. 4-piece reflex plus a 4-piece Merciless. Or on a champion like a Rhodos or a Sun Wukong, the 9-piece. If you can pull it off, 15% chance to get an extra turn. So at 9-piece, you get a better version of Lethal and Savage. You get a reflex built in close to, and you get a mini Relentless built in. That's insane. That is insane. 4 sets, or 3 sets in 1 plus all the stats. That's nasty. All right, crit rate. Feels out of place to talk about crit rate in the giving the tenor of the conversation. I'm not a hater of crit rate. I already talked about it with divine crit rate. So I'll put it at the bottom of, towards the bottom of C tier. Put it over here. Over here feels good, right? Okay, next up we have Slayer. Slayer, man. Slayer's one of those, I feel like it's the most, I don't know, polarizing 9-piece set. Some people love it. Some people hate it. You get speed, you get crit rate, you get crit damage, you get ignored defense, you get all those AoE attack bonuses as well. Slayer is still the best damage I've seen out of a Merciless and PvE content. Slayer's a tough one, man. I don't think it's good as most of the other 9-piece variables, but I think it's more niche too. It's for AoE damage dealers. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of A tier. That feels right to me. It's weird though, because it's hard to compare a set like Slayer and Stun and Bolster, right? Like, it just depends. But I guess it's a tier list. Everything's gonna depend, right? So I'll put it it can be very lethal, right? But it is a little bit more niche than some of the other variables. Next up, we have the Feral gear. Man, you guys know how much I love Feral, right? First of all, one piece, one accessory, one ring can give you 40 accuracy. That's nuts. A one piece, it's the strongest one piece, in my opinion, in the game. Like, talk about a little power creep to perception there, right? The 5% speed and 40 accuracy, but you can get it from your accessories. You can get 40 accuracy off of one ring or amulet. And then you get the block debuffs on 4-piece. You get the block the sheep potential 50% at 6-piece. And then you get the more damage on a Rio Bone Spear or Gwendolyn the Silent or anybody with a lot of debuffs. So Ramen 2. I am a huge fan of Feral. It's S tier. Didn't I say we're going to have 5 S tiers? Oops. Well, I guess there's a lot of good sets. What can I say? I personally put Feral over here. I think it's one of the best sets in the game. Just that one piece alone. Pinpoint. Shoot. Pinpoint, I think, is one of the best sets in the game. Pinpoint arguably is better than Feral. It's so hard to compare because it really depends on what you need, of course. But Pinpoint is like, this is why everybody needs to farm the hell out of these event dungeons. Like, that's when you should go all out. Having the intercept is so strong. Having that 10% speed on the 2-piece, what you can get from your accessories, is so insanely strong. I'll put it right over there. 5th best set in the game. But it's hard because, like, you could even argue it might even be better than Stone Skin. But I don't know. It's tough. It's very tough. All right, Stone Cleaver. Stone Cleaver, I'm not a fan of. I've tested it. Just like, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it needs a buff. I'll put it at the bottom of, I'll put it actually at the top of C tier. I'm really disappointed with Stone Cleaver, right? There's just better ways to get rid of Stone Skin in the game. And even with cracking roots, you're still not going to bust through a lot of Stone Skins. And I'm really disappointed with the ignore defense. That 6-piece is a 20% ignore defense on Stone Cleaver. I think it should be like a 30% ignore defense. That would make it more viable. Rebirth is a weird one because Rebirth gives you 10% speed on a 2-piece, 20 resistance and 10% speed. So a 2-piece is super strong in the same way that Pinpoint is, right? Different stats, but you get the speed. That's great. Then you get boost to the revives you get 10% extra HP, 10% extra turn meter at 4-piece. And then you get the block damage on the wearer once per round at 6-piece when an ally dies. So it's meant for, obviously, a reviver. The 9-pieces decrease the cooldown of any revive ally skills by 1 turn. I think that's kind of weak, man. I would like to see that by 2 turns or just straight up reset ally skills. I don't know, like a full reset of a random skill or something. I don't know. But for a 9-piece, think about everything that you have to sacrifice to get this a 9-piece. You know, like you could go 9-piece protection, 9-piece with the damage escalation, the protected buffs, all that stuff, and then compare a Rebirth. I don't know. I don't get too excited about it. That being said, it's not trash. I'm actually going to put it at the very top of B tier, right? The stats are good too. You get some speed there, 24%, I want to say, when fully maxed. Crit damage is still good, not the best. I'm going to put it at bottom of B tier. Accuracy, same thing. Especially in the early game, accuracy is still my jam, you know? 40 accuracy is still 40 accuracy. It's just been crept. Resistance, kind of the same thing. You know, it's not a good set, but 40 resistance can still kind of be handy in some situations, I guess, right? Just a lot of better options out there nowadays. I'm trying to think. I'm just going to go all the way bottom of C tier, unfortunately. And Lifesteal, I'm going to also put the bottom of C tier. It's got more early game utility than a lot of these sets, but it does fall off. We'll put it right over here. Actually, right below crit rate. I still think a 2-piece crit rate is a little bit better. All right, guys, so there we have it. Let me just make sure that we don't have, like, a grave error here. And I think we do. I think we do. We need to make a change. I love me some Relentless, but it's not the third best set in the game, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take Relentless down, and we're going to put Relentless over here, you know? Because I love it, and I think it's S tier, but ultimately, like, let's not be crazy here, right? Like, these sets are insanely good, and I feel much better about Merciless, Protection, Stone Skin, Pinpoint, Impulse, Feral, Supersonic, Relentless, Divine Speed, Speed. That makes me feel better, right? Relentless is good, not that good. Guys, let me know what artifact sets you think that I snubbed in the comments below. What's too low, and what do I just have way too high? Look forward to reading the comments on this one. Hopefully you guys have a great day or weekend if you're watching this video the day that it goes live. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.